when you're bringing in the solar, obviously, solar power, you're bringing that in, the internet, all those things, you need people to be trained. You've got to teach them, how to install that, how to put that together. So that's science, that's technology, it's engineering, it's math. And so you're teaching the children. So basically, that's what those are. Those are centers to teach them, how to utilize these technologies, how to develop new technologies, with this. Most certainly it's not going to stay stagnant. So it's education. And then with the space program, we also have a component of that of manufacturing, because we're building space stations. And so in order to build space stations, you need a lot of people to do those things. So this, again, that if you're building it there, they're making the money. They're working there. They're the engineers. So you got to teach them and train them. So you see what I'm saying? It's never a point where they're not teaching, they're not learning, and they're not and then that helps also the way you kind of fold that into a community, and you get the older people, the parents, the grandparents, what have you, the community leaders to buy into that, is the fact that this is going to stay here and your children will stay here. Because why? There's places for them to work. There's, the contracts are already there. This work needs to be done. We're doing it here instead of me, putting it in, say, putting another one in the United States. Not, because it's, we get one more, the United States gonna fall in on itself. We have that. We need, now you put them there where you have the land space, you have the land mass to be able to do that, and put those people to work. And now they can work, and they got houses. They have a life. Now they begin to build for self. We have several companies that are several independent companies that are building like the Von Braun Space Center. I'm a part of that orbital assembly. And so with building that space station, it's a componentry, and that componentry really is built like on a truss, so it's built, it's just machine technology that you build it, that you have to be able to build them. But it takes, it takes a lot in order to build it and to keep it going and to keep it up. And then you want to have more than just one. So there's just it's a continuation. So that's something that industry is in its infancy, and this allows it to grow. So it allows the continent to grow with that industry. And as we begin to actually stretch out into space, there's the greater need, like I told you, that I was a part of other projects. If we began to put things on Mars and have those colonies there, you've got to build habitats, and you have to build big turbine engines, and you have to have food management and food storage. And so that, food production, it's got to be able to produce, because you have to live. There's nothing there. So everything you have has to be produced and has to be built in such a manner that it can become self-sufficient or self-sustaining.
And what would be the finality of this project that people? Okay, I'm referring to the Mars project now, not necessarily the one related to Africa. So that at the point people can go to live there, to transfer there, to vacation
Mhm.
there, or a combination of both.
Oh, for all of that, so that to study, to live, and also so that we, exploration. Exploration. Man was not meant, you didn't have, this would be a pretty wasted galaxy, having all these planets out here, and we're just going to overcrowd this one. Because what happens is this: the tensions will only rise. The more and more as the population grows, the tensions will continue to rise. So because we are living longer, the tensions are only going to get worse. So we do have to look for other measures, and we have to look at it with eyes open, head up, eyes open, and looking forward. You're not going to be able to, the earth, we're getting to the point of capacity. And so now it's either we have to look at other ways, other areas that we can actually offload the people onto, so that we don't overcapacitate the earth itself.
That's interesting. That's really important. You see, like the thing that we are reading about Elon Musk's project in space. So one day we can actually vacate, do a kind of a vacation there to, or maybe a project to meet some other people who already occupy some other part of the universe. It sounds very interesting, of course, futuristic, no, because these are things that will only happen in the future. But before then, we need to prepare ourselves to, for some of this encounter. And I want to believe because nobody really know what is happening there. Or do we have any specified information as to who we might encounter going out of this earth, going out of this space where we are?
We haven't. We have an idea that we know what. Okay, the first thing we had to get past the fact was the arrogance that we were alone, that we were all there is. So once we got past that fact, people started, countries began to put more money into the space program, which is what we've done. What we're going to encounter is pretty much, we will encounter people who are like us. We will encounter other life forms that are very similar to us. We will encounter life forms that are very different from us. And one of the things that we have to realize as we go around, that's why we have to get to a point where we won't get to a point here. We'll get to those points and places, as we move out into the galaxy, where we begin to appreciate what we have and appreciate the human form that we are actually in, and also other forms, that the animals will really truly begin to appreciate, the animals and all the different various animals that you have. Because if you look around in the animal community, look how different all these different animals are. They are not all the same. We basically are somewhat the same, but they are extremely different. You go from one to go, right in the jungle. You look at an elephant, look at a tiger, totally different. But if you look at the only differences between us, maybe some features, the color of our skin, but basically we're all the same. So that tells you right there that this universe is going to have, very, very different species.
But we have seen some of these images of the UFO. What is some people say they have seen something, some others are just merely speculating or things like that. But we don't really know what to believe. Of course, it is by common sense. One should imagine that this earth where we live should not be the only place where we can find. Anyway, would that call it human being or living things like us? Because it is impossible to calculate the entire universe and just come out with, okay, Earth is the only place you have where life can be. Exactly. But even that, we are not even sure. So that is why we need experts to explain some of these things to us. Because we need to think, we need to understand that maybe we are not all alone in this universe, but even the evidence to back that up, we don't have it sometimes, no?
Well, yeah, yes, we do. Again, much of your evidence, much of what you have is right in plain sight. It's right there in plain sight. We have the evidence. We have simply, again, allowed ourselves to be told it's not there. You can look at artifacts, go right into museums, go right into, you go right there to Egypt. You go throughout Africa. You see all the different things. You see the pyramids. The pyramids are the one thing that they're on every single continent. Why? The obelisk, every single continent. Why? Why would somebody do that? What were they doing? We see electricity, where the electrification is simply with lightning rods, not even connected with wires. And that can be across the world. Why? You see what I'm saying? So it's therefore, and you look back and you look at these different things and we see much evidence, not just what somebody, may have seen a glimpse of, what have you. You see the drawings, you see the artifacts, you see all these things that show you ships, people in ships. Probably, we may even one day really tell the truth that we may have come here from someplace else.
That sounds very interesting now.
We always talk about the aliens. The aliens came here. The aliens helped us with the technology. Yeah, we may have been the people, our ancestors may have been the people who were coming here from someplace else and came to this planet.
So by ancestors, now you are referring to human being only, or you are referring to life in general?
Life in general. The ancestors of the people who actually populated this earth could have very easily have come from someplace else, because there's not a race on the face of this earth who does not have a story that does not speak about ships, about them being brought to this place to work, just all those in those stories. And when you see, that's where the beauty of the stories began, when those stories begin to connect the dots. And you're like, wait a minute, how is it these people over here experience the same thing, these people over here, you saw what they saw, let's wait, everybody's telling a story, obviously, from their perspective, because you're on different parts of the world, but everybody saw the same thing at the same time.
That's interesting. Anyway, that is something that we can explore another day.
Explore that later. But this has been wonderful. It truly has. And I think we've got a lot we can come back to and have another conversation on. And I appreciate your having me. And I'm definitely looking forward to coming back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
All right. Talk to you soon. Bye.